I saved this for later because it's fucking annoying, but we got to talk about it. We've been talking about the red flag laws and stuff like that.
Nah, you've been talking about it. I think they're a great idea. I love Israel. Please don't take my things. Please don't.
Well, they're going to. Our president of the United States. This is an actual tweet. This isn't because a lot of times you see tweets around and you think, oh, that's a Photoshop. Someone's fucking with me.
Yeah.
This is from his Twitter. I screenshotted this. Would Chris Cuomo be given a red flag for his recent rant, the one we just watched? Filthy language and a total loss of control. He shouldn't be allowed to have any weapons. He's nuts.
Hey, Mr. President, Mr. President, fucking dickhead. That's not funny. That's not funny. Is that funny, Royce?
That to me is not funny, and and I know he was joking. We get it that you're joking, but the reality of the red flag law is that he is proving exactly what people are concerned about. Mm-hmm. Somebody has an altercation. Somebody sees the Joey Gibson altercation, for example, at the Moore rally, and they go, none of these guys could have guns now. None of them are allowed. You're making fun of something stupid that a lot of people are by the way, legitimately upset about. People are legitimately upset about this. Your supporters are upset about this red flag. And by the way, it is going to zoom. It is going to zoom through Congress. It is going to fly through because the left isn't going to vote against it. This is what they've wanted.
We're going to have to depend on the Supreme Court.
And you're right. And here's what's going to happen. And I'm worried about that too.
Me too. But they might come through in a pinch, but I doubt it. And
even fucking stupid. Not even John McCain Jr., Dan Crenshaw had made this whole fucking video about like this is the last time I'm going to talk about the red flag laws because you guys are worried because you hear the word red flags, but the conservatives' versions of the red flag laws, those are fine. That's fine. Let me see if I can find it. It's worth playing. Can somebody get me? God damn it! And I had it too. Can somebody get me the Dan Crenshaw red flag? I think it was an Instagram post he had. Let me see here because I don't want to get. I might be able to get it from Twitter. Sorry guys, I wasn't ready for this. I should have had it pulled up. Let's see here. I will find it. I promise. Let me see here. Scroll. Sorry, guys. Here it is. I found it. All right. It's off of Twitter, so of course forgive me. But here you go.
Indicated his support. Wow, what a week. So earlier this week, President Trump indicated his support for something called red flag laws. I stated on Twitter that maybe we should consider them at the state level. Maybe we should have a conversation about it, and it should be a conversation. Unfortunately, that's not what happened. What came out of it instead was hate-filled comments, lots of emotion, a lot of anger, a lot of memes. A lot of memes, by the way, which could be improved.
No.
He's trying to be quirky.
By the way, first off, the memes were fire. They were very funny. A lot of the the Scooby-Doo one with him taking off his mask and it's John McCain underneath is fucking funny. I know he gets memes. He only sees half of them, but he gets it. But let's hear him out. I want to hear him out.
Okay, but that's not the point. The point is that clearly even the words red flag law just emotionally triggered a lot of people. It made you guys really mad at me, and it seemed that no amount of explanation was able to quell your fears or convince you otherwise.
Yeah, because no amount of explanation as to why you're going to trample on our Second and Fourth Amendment rights.
Yep.
Is a conversation. It's a conversation that almost any law-abiding citizen doesn't want to have.
Well, second, fourth, and first, because remember, these red flag laws are going to be enacted depending on if you say something that they don't like online.
Yeah, but I mean, that's still, that's using your First Amendment right to trample on your second and fourth.
Right.
It's not silencing, it's but it's still the whole thing is fucked. There's no conversation about it for the 99% of people out there that just go to work and come home and want to protect their families.
He's trying to backtrack, by the way. Someone's pointing out that's exactly what he's doing.
Was able to quell your fears or convince you otherwise, and convince you that somehow the president and I had not betrayed you. That is not true, of course, and it's sad that many of you think that. It really.
Oh, so you're gonna use Jew guilt on me?
Hold on.
You're gonna gaslight me, and now you're gonna use Jew guilt on me? I can't believe you'd even think I would do that. That's what a guy says when he's caught red-handed cheating. Am I right?
No, exactly.
I can't even believe you would think that I would do that to you. No, but I watched you. I watched you go into the motel. I watched you do it. Don't do this shit. Don't do this, Dan.
He's saying he's sad that people had an actual reaction that was real. Maybe, but again, this is the Skinner meme. This is the Skinner meme. No, it's not me that's the problem. It's the public that's wrong. It's your entire base is turning against you and this red flag law. Nobody's with you. Nobody's defending you anymore. We certainly aren't.
It really is. But I did have some good conversations, some good private conversations with a lot of you, and this is what I found out. Clearly, when we say red flag laws, you guys stop listening. You can't hear what we're suggesting.
Oh my God.
He's talking to you like children. He's talking to, not you, us. He's talking to us like children.
Unfucking believable.
Clearly, when you hear the red flag laws, you're just shut down. You just don't want to listen.
Can I just say something? Because everybody's been worried that this guy's going to be the next John McCain. This nigga is no John McCain.
No, John McCain was better at weaseling his way through stuff.
He would have explained this a lot better.
Yeah.
And he would have been very politician about it. And he would have chosen his words where he could have just kind of weaseled out either way. But this guy's like, no. You're not getting it, stupid. I understand more than you do, okay? I have a fucking eye patch, stupid. Like, there's no... Could you imagine? Like, John McCain would have never spoken to people like this because he knew I have to push this evil neocon law through. I got to be as affable as possible. Yeah. This is unbelievable.
You know, I saw somebody defending him. We're going to play a little bit more, obviously. We're going to play the whole thing, but I saw somebody defending him, and they said... look, you got to give it to him. At least he's actually telling you what's going to happen. And I'm like, oh, cool. So that's like a murderer going, hey, you got to defend the murderer because he told me he was going to kill me. So you got to give him credit for saying it. Let's hear him talk down to us more.
Stations with a lot of you, and this is what I found out. Clearly, when we say red flag laws, you guys stop listening. You can't hear what we're suggesting. Because understandably, you automatically assume that we are just agreeing with the left's version of that law. And
no, here's what you don't understand. Here's what you don't understand, fucko. We don't agree with any version of the law. And that's what I think he doesn't get. He's going, no. It can't possibly be what we're doing. No. Red flag law, there's certain things to me. There's a lot of things to me that completely supersede any political lines. It's not about left and right. When it comes about the First Amendment, the Second Amendment, the Fourth Amendment, when it comes to things like that, I don't give a fuck what side you're on.
I'm not very concerned about libtard snowflakes when you're trying to take away all of the rights listed in the Constitution.
I don't care. I don't give a fuck, to be honest. I don't give a fuck. This isn't about a political ideology, you fuckface. If it was, you assholes wouldn't be losing half of your base right now. More than half.
So we all know that the left's version would not be good. It would not protect due process.
Neither will your version.
Expedited due process. No. Every version of this that I've seen is, even Trump said it. Remember a year ago when he was sitting with Feinstein? And again, why don't we just take the guns first? This is going to be, you know what this is going to be like? It's going to be like civil forfeiture laws. It's going to be like if you're riding around, it happens all the time. In Florida, for example, with $5,000 in cash because you're going to go buy a truck that you found on Craigslist, right? Which people do all the time. If it's more than $3,000, depending on the county, they consider that money to be dirty money. And they will take it from you. And then you have to go to court. And you have to prove your money is innocent of any crime, and then maybe they'll give it back to you.
It's a whole and you have to spend money to get that.
You
money
have to
back.
spend
It's a
money
whole
to
mess.
get. You have to spend more than $5,000 to get your $5,000 back because you were riding around with it. That's what this is. They're going to come and take your guns first because there's not a red flag law that would work, right? Because due process. What does that mean? You're going to give the guy a court date? Okay, then you go to do the shooting before the court. You understand what I'm saying?
But that's awesome, dude. Who doesn't love court? More court's great. More due process. More going through the system is fun.
There is not a way to do this without infringing on rights. I don't care what version it is. But you know what? Let's finish hearing them out because I don't want people to say we didn't hear them out.
It turns out that isn't what we're talking about at all. At its heart, what we're talking about is the ability to confiscate weapons when there is clear evidence that violence is about to be committed. It's that simple. And this isn't that controversial. What is controversial is how that due process...
This isn't controversial. Again, I just want to quote the President of the United States today, saying that Chris Cuomo would definitely not pass the red flag laws.
Am I right?
We would take his weapons away. This is hilarious.
so
I
funny.
think this is funny.
protected, and I think that's where a lot of these concerns are. Making sure that due process could not be abused is at the heart of any conservative solution to...
Somebody, Jeezum Crow, I guess they're trolling, but they go, rights could change, Royce. Yeah, you know what? Fucking no, they can't. Shall not infringe. You're gonna change that. You know what I mean? Freedom of speech. Those are the foundations of why we have what we have, as crumbling as it is. I'm sorry, it's no. That's a no from me, dog.
The supposed red flag laws and our version of what those would look like. I have laid out specific safeguards that would have to be in place for us to support any type
He's
of
laid
red
out
flag.
safeguards.
Good safeguards.
Okay, among
What's that?
them
Among
would be
them.
clear and convincing evidence, punishment for false accusations, right to attorney and cross-examination, and limited standing so that not just anybody can accuse you. For instance, not just a neighbor, not
just
an
Jack Dorsey or the Department of Justice.
Correct.
Or just some fucking FBI agent who doesn't like who I voted for.
Correct.
Okay, cool.
Peter Strzok, for example, could do it.
It has to be somebody with standing, maybe a family member, or maybe only police officers.
Oh, so
Maybe-
somebody with status in the government.
Did you see that, dude? Did somebody one of your betters, somebody with standing? They did say family, right? So let me point this out. You mean like this? You mean like when a wife is getting sick of her husband, and they break up and they get divorced? And they go, I think, you know what? My ex-husband, he has all these guns and he's crazy. Somebody like standing like that, because, of course, give me one law that's ever been passed that hasn't been absolutely abused. That's what it would be. That's what it would be. A fucking sheriff that gets too tired of coming out to your house because you're having parties late at night. And then they go, that guy's in standing. Maybe he doesn't like you. Maybe he thinks you're a little cuckoo bananas and you said something. Let's take their guns. Somebody with standing. So you fucking plebs, go fuck yourselves. When a police officer is going to show up, because as we've seen, they're better than you. All these cops, they're better than you. They all get get drunk just like you do, beat their wives just like a bunch of people do. But they're going to decide. They're going to decide that I can't have a gun, that he can't have a gun, that you can't have a gun.
Safeguards, Royce.
Fuck you, Dan Crenshaw. Fuck you.
Billy Knights
Not
in the
just a
chat
neighbor.
says, the Constitution is the safeguard, you one-eyed shit.
Exactly. Exactly.
It's standing so that not just anybody can accuse you. For instance,
It has to
not
be
just
the
a
cops
neighbor.
or Jack Dorsey or fucking or Attorney General Barr
Or your ex-wife.
yeah, or Alex Acosta, the guy who let Epstein off.
Or not just an ex. It has to be somebody with standing, maybe a family member, or maybe only police officers. We've got a great study by Cato Institute that lays this out exactly. Here's the thing. I understand
Cato
your
Institute,
fears
it's
about
cool.
bad red flag laws. Red flag law is a general concept. There can be good ones and
No. Let me help you out. No.
By the way,
No.
I don't think that anybody asked him to make this video. I don't think that he planned this video very well. I think old overconfident Dan Crenshaw popped on Periscope and was like, I got this.
Yeah.
I'm so fucking good.
He's just fucking.
And
he's riffing.
And he just blundered his way through this fucking 3-minute and 29-second video so badly that he may end his career here.
I agree with you 100%. I was
Trump
thinking
will
that.
survive it because there's a cult built around Trump. Brother, you will not survive this. We don't want another McCain. We were happy to see that fuck dead. We don't want another one.
And there can be bad ones. You should be against the bad ones, as I am. The whole purpose of what the president did and what I am doing in trying to start a conversation about this is so that we take control of the narrative and propose solutions that actually do protect due process rights and ensure that we aren't on the sidelines when Democrats are proposing blatantly unconstitutional laws that would not protect due process.
So basically what you're saying is it's coming anyway, and we're not going to fight for it. So we might as well lean into it, and we'll do it our way.
Can somebody make this into a Pornhub screenshot that says pirate fucks entire nation?
Yes. King here. I'll tell you what. I'll full screen it for everybody.
Yeah, one-eyed pirate fucks entire country.
Yes.
What a piece of shit.
The last thing is this. No one is saying this is definitely the solution. It's a conversation.
Now it's a conversation.
We're just
because
talking here.
you got fucking hammered. Nobody's saying this is a solution. The goddamn president of the United States went on TV and said it was we watched it with our own eyes. We have two of them, by the way. Fucking bad guy from Last Action Hero watched the president say it himself. That is the solution that was proposed. What the fuck are you talking about?
I haven't come out in support of any particular
Jay Fox
bill
in the
or
chat and D-Live says, thank you for your service, Dan. Now fuck off. That's a fair way to say it, right?
Yeah.
Thank you for your service. We honor your military service. Now fuck off. Get the
Yeah.
like Ricky from Trailer Park Boys. Hey, Congressman Crenshaw, I'm going to give you $100 to fuck off.
state law. It's a conversation that conservatives have actually been having for a very long time. It's not new at all. And it
Fuck you, Dan.
definitely does not deserve the emotional reaction it has gotten. We are better than that.
This
Let's
guy's
be-
gaslighting everybody. He's
Are
literally-
you serious?
Yeah, maybe stop being so fucking
Stop being
spastic
a baby. Stop being a baby. And by the way, for those people that tell us
President Donald Trump mentioned
for those people that tell us all the time, I don't understand you go after Crowder. Crowder's a good boy. Crowder has on whoever the fuck they tell him to have on. Here's example A.
red flag laws as a possibility. Okay, so I want to talk about this because then you've been catching flack from the left, and you've also caught some guff, I guess we could say, from the right. He said that
Guff? He didn't catch guff.
By the way, Dan Crenshaw looks like he's laying in bed and his reverse camera came on.
Laying in my bed, taking away your gun rights. Dan Crenshaw.
Why is he making that weird Jason Sudeikis face?
that we must make measures, make sure that those judged to pose a grave risk to public safety do not have access to firearms, and if they do, those firearms can be taken through rapid due process.
All of
and
these
you
people
mentioned
just made a complete 180.
Yep, all of them.
the TAPS Act, maybe also implement state red flag laws or gun violence restraining orders. So a lot of people obviously not thrilled about this idea, a lot of conservatives. And to be fair, you were more open-minded and said maybe there is a solution here, maybe there isn't. Can you explain?
He only became open-minded when, like Mike says, he saw his entire political career closing in around him. Remember, he has one eye, so it gets darker quicker.
Specifically to people what it is that you think you'll be proposing.
You're a dumb idiot.
His profession,
you're,
just
you're,
saying.
you're a fucking stupid idiot.
What? His peripheral vision isn't great.
Just in the middle of this super serious conversation, that might have been the stupidest thing you've ever said in all the time I've known. He only gets half a day to get things done. Once the sun moves over here, it's over.
That they don't misinterpret it.
We already have, but and I appreciate the nuance you added to that, which is I said maybe, maybe we look at these at the state level.
Right.
On the TAPS Act, which I am in favor of, I'm a co-sponsor. The TAPS Act has gotten. There's been a lot of misinformation out about it, and it's. I'm not sure where it's coming from, but here's
let me
what
help
Probably from the bill itself.
From your mouth.
Probably from people who read the bill and said, "Hey, here's what the bill says."
Threat assessment and prevention and safety is what it is.
actually is. It is a grant program that allows local law enforcement to use the same tools and analytical tools and training on behavioral threat assessments
programs
that federal law enforcement has been using for 35 years.
So no, they're not grant programs. Here's how this works. I want to explain this to you. They don't give you more money like, hey, we're just going to give you more money for this great program. They take money from you if you don't enroll in this program.
That's correct. It's the same reason that we have basically federally, and that's how we got speed limits in the major highways, because the Department of Transportation says you can't have speed limits higher than such and such on a major highway. Seatbelt laws. The drinking age. Drinking age. Not a lot of people know is actually a state enforced thing, but when they passed, any state that doesn't have a drinking age under 18 loses a big chunk. Under 21, excuse me, loses a big chunk of their funding. So it behooves you to do it. If not, they take money from you. You're basically, it's the roundabout way of passing a federal law when you can't. You're doing it you're doing it with money is what you're doing. And the threat assessment thing. So now what they're saying is, hey, you know how the FBI has access to the NSA and everything you do? We also want to make sure that your Sheriff Grady Judd here, your local sheriff, has access to everything. So you can pull up a screen and have access to everything you've ever said online, and every time you've ever made fun of your local sheriff for being a dickhead, or every time you said there's a speed trap over there. What you're doing is you are giving the information that already, because of the fucking, and by the way, this all trickles down from the Patriot Act. Something else that we fell for like fucking idiots.
I never fell for it.
I'm saying we as...
Yeah, I was going to say, there were most citizens the same way years ago that were now, that were like, no,
this is ridiculous. Yeah. But what I mean is, this is the same thing. Now all this unfettered access that used to just be at a federal level, every cop is gonna be for this, because you are number one, giving them more money, and number two, you're giving them access to this huge database where what it is, and look, I'm not trying to sound hacky because a lot of people are making the Minority Report thing, but the TAPS Act is pre-crime, right? It's pre-crime. You are trying to stop somebody who hasn't done anything illegal yet. You know what I mean?
It's Minority Report, but without Tom Cruise.
Right.
So that sucks.
Right. So it's not a gay guy in it.
Tom Cruise was cool.
Well, no, there's a gay guy, Lindsey Graham. There is a gay guy in it. One gay guy who's for it.
I am totally in favor of these laws. I love it. Can we also bring back slavery? It's
my favorite part's the fanning.
It's South Carolina.
It's so hot.
It's just so hot. And I mean, are we supposed to do our own farming?
By the way, turn of the century Lindsey Graham is the best Lindsey Graham.
I mean, I want to live in a utopia where I can own black people as property, but also be gay openly. I want to live in a perfect world, catered only to Lindsey Graham.
This doesn't change the law in any way. It doesn't change their ability to implement the law. It doesn't change who they target. It just gives local law enforcement some of the same tools that, say, the Capitol Police have, or other federal law enforcement agencies has.
So can I ask you a quick question then? Because this is important.
How are my traps looking? Sorry. Are they looking good?
Because look, man, look at my wrist. I've battered my wrist by abusing Adderall and lifting weights. I hope it at least paid off.
Wearing his old lady wrist brace.
Yeah.
I mean,
and then you hear his wife off camera. I think it looks nice, Stephen. You shut the fuck up. Shut up. Congressman Crenshaw, do you like it though?
Does it look good?
Does the shirt fit?
With the laws already in the book. So, for example,
I imagine Steven Crowder treats his wife the way Will Ferrell treated his wife and the other guys. She's just she's just so plain.
She's so plain and normal.
Yeah, and all his friends were going,
so hot,
dude.
It's so hot.
Strict background checks, felons, violent criminals, they can't legally obtain firearms, or those who've been declared mentally defective in a court of law. So does the TAPS Act, or what people are calling red flag laws, add to that at all? Or does it just reinforce what?
Look at
he's leading them. By the way,
I'm sorry, I know we're going a little bit late. I apologize.
If you were in court, right, a lawyer would go, objection, Your Honor, he's leading the witness.
He is.
He's leading the witness right now.
And look at him, fucking boomer pandering mug club asshole is wearing a Walther shirt. He did that on purpose because he knew he was going to have Crenshaw on. So he's wearing one of his, because Walther gives him all these shows.
Course.
So he's wearing it to go, I love guns.
Yeah.
We already have kind of on the books.
It would reinforce it. And I would say there's almost no relationship whatsoever between the TAPS Act and red flag laws.
Remember Ghostbusters 2 when he was on trial and Bill Murray was just feeding what's his face? Rick Moranis lines.
Oh, yeah.
He's like, yeah, we just had a friend. Yeah, you had a friend that was in there. Yeah, and we were just trying to help a friend, and that's when you were just trying to help a friend, like anybody would. Objection, Your Honor. That's what this feels like,
Yes.
though. It's like fucking Steven Crowder is the Bill Murray right now. So you're just reinforcing laws. Yeah, we're reinforcing already existing laws. You're not making up new laws. No, we're not making up new laws.
Still like Crowder, guys?
Two very different things. When it comes to the TAPS Act, it really has nothing to do with guns. This is just criminal behavior in general. Now, obviously, it could prevent people from engaging in mass shootings for sure.
How perfect is it that we're literally murdering the Constitution and it's called the TAPS Act?
Oh, you're...
This is perfect.
But the TAPS Act has nothing to do with gun control at all.
Okay.
On the red flag laws, you asked an important question, and what you're pointing out in the process of asking that question is the fact that under current federal law, there's already a lot of reasons why you might not be able to own a gun.
Somebody says, somebody goes, Crowder's not endorsing Crenshaw's stance. He's also not pushing back on it, fucking idiot. This is what's called a softball interview. Do you see him pushing back at all? At all? Has he pushed
Mr.
back
Walter,
at all?
Mr. Protected by what? Mr. Firearm guy? Doesn't give a shit.
This isn't a cock. Crowder's not going to push back.
Right.
Okay, a lot more than people maybe
I'm implying that you might be a homosexual, Stephen Crowder.
realize. You engage in threatening behavior, you're under some kind of restraining order. You've engaged in domestic abuse. You're a felon. You've been discharged dishonorably from the military.
You engage in domestic abuse, which means your wife accused you of domestic abuse, and they're going to believe the woman, and now we're going to take your guns. You fuck. Everything that he's talked about are things that are all manipulated all the time by the police. We saw the lesbian police chief that actually had the police go into somebody's house who thought that because she lost her gun in a fucking bathroom and went in there and used the children to go in the house to search it. Dan, fucking stop. Crowder, stop. Crowder's not, by the way, Crowder in this whole thing never pushes back.
And there's a safeguard, a penalty for
Yeah, by the way, the
falsely
same
reporting.
people that did Ruby Ridge and Waco are going to be the ones that can decide if you might be a little crazy and need to get your guns taken away.
It's not a violation, but someone deems it a violation if we criticize a public figure. You know,
That's a good point, Slippin' Jimmy. When Crowder brings a guest on, he just ping-pongs milquetoast normie conservative talking points.
it's not enforced equally, and that can happen anytime there's a margin for human error, whether it's a judge or police officer. I guess to put a finer point out, let me kind of present a hypothetical, and maybe this might help as a thought exercise. Let's say like an angry wife wants to hurt her husband or her ex-husband. He owns many guns. AR-15s,
Nice original thought that literally everybody's been talking about, Crowder.
pistols, shotguns, like my recurve bow, African throwing knives, all of it. Not as efficient as me, but he has all of it.
You're super
and
cool,
she knows that he owns many firearms. So she creates a story about him being abusive, not necessarily with evidence. He hasn't been convicted of domestic abuse, but she does get a restraining order. People need to understand that you don't need to be necessarily convicted of a serious crime for a restraining order to be issued.
You would know, Crowder, right?
Then she'll tell the authorities that her ex-husband is unstable, abusive, about how many guns he has. He's a danger to those around him. What's the process like? And let's say there's a gun confiscation that's ordered. It turns out he's innocent. Is it reversed? Because then you end up with the kind of guilty until proven innocent. I mean, this is something that definitely is tough for me to process.
Yeah, first I would say any new law and process that gets implemented still operates within the context of our criminal justice system, which adheres to
Which
the
is
philosophy.
totally not flawed at all and
Not at all.
completely perfect.
Nothing
and
at all.
Already up and running, tip-top shape.
Of innocent until proven guilty. That would never change. The due process aspect of these things would not change. Even though there's a lot of concern that they would, I see no evidence of that, and no evidence that would change it.
There's no evidence because it hasn't been done yet.
And also,
Fucking asshole.
and also, do they take my guns during the due process while they work it out?
Yes, that is correct.
So that's another thing. Like that's guilty until proven innocent.
That is correct.
It's not like we're gonna have a panel decide and then I'll take my guns. Like that's fucked.
You know, in that specific scenario, it's hard to tell. I think I just agree with your point, though, that the preponderance of evidence would have to be very, very crystal clear. It should not. You should not.
But by the way, the evidence would have to be crystal clear. Even though you're not going through an actual legal proceeding to say because even at the end of this, even if the evidence was high, they could take your guns and then later on you could be found not guilty of doing anything. So they're still taking your guns without any due process. That's what they're doing.
We have to have the conversation, and if we're going to, though, we put thoughtful limits in place on what we would actually agree to, and a very substantive standard of evidence would certainly be one of those. And the scenario you're describing, I would never agree to.
But again, once this bill is passed, you fuckface.
Yeah, you're not going to stop it.
It doesn't matter whether you agree with it. You're not going to be in every small town. You're not going to be in a fucking domestic dispute in Poughkeepsie. You know what I mean? You're not going to be in Iowa when somebody gets their guns taken away. Just because you wouldn't agree with it doesn't mean this shit wouldn't be abused. I'm sorry. I know the show's over. I just didn't want to cut that segment short.
I get it.
I